Komana. Kumbopfeka zvakanaka. Kumbopfeka zvakanaka. Bere. Nona biri bovu ngazi. Kumbopfeka bere. Kumbopfeka bere. Tombotanga tichiti chiko nayo. Kwaziwai. Vana veZimbabwe. Kwaziwai. Makadi vana veZimbabwe. Sangana ineni wenyu Shepherd Yuda. Nasi Sunday. We are not going to take long. Sezvatoita mazuva esirikaendo notatanga nguwai. So we want to keep time. We want to keep the video short. Today is 16 April. And we've got 2 days left to go to a morning day. This is 20 to 9 time at a tanga. Saka tifana kutora a long time the presentation. Tikapedza on at 10, 1 hour 20 minutes. It's reasonable. Topana namkana kunorara. Mkoma Daniel Marekera, how are you? The chaps zero famba. Magadi guys neurombo skuru kutora opportunity inoi tawirwa nedambudziko tawirwa nenhamo mukoma talent chikwira atete patience mavhunga ndofunga munongonzwa nchikuti atete peshi she's always with us contributing. She's not a politician. Let me clearly say, she's someone who is not a politician, but she's someone with a passion to see Zimbabwe yakanaka, inevana vagere zvakanaka. I remember talking to her one day, vachintaurira kuti Shepherd, inini I'm not ZANU-PF, I'm not Triple C, I'm not MDC. But ndiri munhu anoda kuona Zimbabwe yakanaka seZimbabwe takakura tichiona. Ndiraiti mukoma talent. Saka atete patience mavhunga vashaikirwa namai vavo. I spoke to her this afternoon. Ndaona message pa Facebook vachiti go well. Saka hazvina kundiitira zvakanaka time yandamuka. Ndabva ndavafonera ndichida kuunderstanda kuti what is really happening. It's so sad, guys, that atete patience mavhunga vashaikirwa namai vavo. Mai, we all know, munhu akashaikirwa namai like me, I really understand what she's going through. I know the pain she is right now. Saka ndachivabvunza kuti tete saka zvakamira sei zvikanzi I might be flying tomorrow for her burial. Zvakaoma, guys, when we are far away from our family members and family. Towirwa nedambudziko rakaita seri rufu. Dai kuri kufirwa nehama ipedyo nongoti maimfaro zviri sei, gogo vanati hazviri kufamba here. Dai iri hama ipedyo nongoti hama ipedyo handikwanise kuenda, but ava ndimai nyakubereka, vakavabereka ndo vashaika. I'm not privy to exactly say what transpired kuti gogo vazoshaika, but ndangoti sevana veZimbabwe tete patience tinobata navo mune zvakawanda sterek. One of the people kuti vangoda sagogo vanata, one of the people kuti katanga kutaura panapa kuti gogo taita dambudziko, tete patience vanobvunza mukoma Shepherd, dambudziko ramaita ndikupi kuda help tibatsire. She contributes. Tikachema kuti uda mari utite zvakati, she's there always to contribute. She contributes. Kune vamwe vanhu vakakomborerwa naMwari pamusoro penyika panapa. Hanzi tutsidzo nyakudarika. zviri sei mwana wamai, welcome. Kune vanhu vakawanda vakakomborwa naMwari vekuti vane chipo chekupa chekubatsira. Vatete Patience Mavunga is one of those people. Vekuti every time yatoita problem tikachema tikukumbirawo mari, tinomhanya, vanomhanya contributor, but vakangonditi inini I contribute shepherd for the good of the country, but musanditore sepolitician. I'm not a politician, but there is someone with a passion to see Zimbabwe yakanaka, tungamirirwa zvakanaka. Vakanditi even ZANU-PF ikatungamirira zvakanaka, we support it. Even Triple C ikatungamirira zvakanaka, we support it. Even MDC ikatungamirira zvakanaka, we support it. Ndopa ndakaona what a true Zimbabwean she is, someone who just want to see Zimbabwe yakanaka. Saka tinovabata maoko ruzhinji rweZimbabwe, whether you are ZANU-PF, whether you are MDC, whether you are Triple C, ndati vatete Patience havana a political party yavanoti political party yangu. Musazovatora sekuti munhu weTriple C kana munhu weMDC kana munhu weZANU-PF, no, mwana weZimbabwe. Saka tinongosendawo macondolences edu, tobatawo maoko kuna atete Peshi Mavunga, kutoti kuna Gogo Mavunga, go well, fambai zvakanaka Gogo. Thank you for giving us that lovely child of yours. Matisira munhu wekuti kana tikada kuchema, she offers her shoulder for us to go and cry. Saka ndoti kuna Gogo, makaita basa, kunyangwe musisipo zvenyu, mabasa enyu tinosara tichimaona pana atete Peshi, mabasa akanaka ekuti makabereka mwana ane moyo wakanaka, asingatarise kuti uyu ndiani anongobatsira. Saka ndoti atete Peshi, I know you are mourning at this juncture, muri pamatambudziko. Let me say safe journey. Munotibatirawo basa zvakanaka, mutiradzikirewo Gogo zvakanaka, munotitenderawo kuti moti hanzi namukoma shepherd Judah, Gogo fambai zvakanaka, tinokutendai nechipo chamasiya panyika. She was a blessing to a family, as I understand, and little known that she will be a blessing to the country as well. Because kana wabereka mwana anoda kuona vanhu vachigara zvakanaka, vanhu vachigara zvisina mhirizhonga, achiti kunyange munhu akachema anosarudza kurara nenzara achibatsira, unenge wabereka chipo chenyika. Ndo anonzi maheroes. When we come to describe maheroes, hatitauri maheroes magold mafia vanongoba, tikutaura maheroes enyika. Saka tinoti kuna tete go well, toti kuna Gogo go well, toti kuna tete Patience Mavunga mufambe zvakanaka. Tiri kuisai maprayers atete. You are in our prayers. You safe journey. I know you go kumusha nekudzoka kunoradzika Gogo zvakanaka. Tinozotaura maita sei madzoka. Neniwo ndiri kurwadziwa. Munhu wese wandataurira shoko iri pano, vanhu varatidza kurwadziwa. Saka ngati vaisei pamuteuro, vanopfugama nekunamata, topfugama nekunamata, toisa Gogo, toisa atete Peshi pamuteuro, toisa Gogo pamuteuro, kuti jeni yavo yavatanga isina anoziva kuti vari kuendepi ive safe, Mwari wavagachire kwavari kuenda nechipo chavatisira panyika. Munamato mukuru iwoyo. Saka ndinotenda kuna atete Peshi, tinenge tinemi pamuteuro kuenda nekudzoka. Handiti maona atete tari zviri sei. So let's get down to business, and let's talk about today's topic. Today's topic, I'm going to talk about political vendetta, which seemingly taking preeminence over the execution of justice. Angel, aitwa cleared, obvious. Hapana Mnangagwa panga zvisungi. Atete tari, there is nowhere Mnangagwa would arrest Hubert Angel. Ndakazvitaura zvezvo. He can never arrest Hubert Angel. Reasons being, kusungwa kwa Hubert Angel, that means kusungwa kwa Emerson Mnangagwa. Saka they are trying to sanitize it. It's all up to us Zimbabweans to make sure that that gold mafia falls. Saka, anyway, today's topic is about political vendettas, which seemingly taking preeminence over the execution of justice. When we talk about the execution of justice, we talk about the whole government, the whole system that sees fair play, fair trials, and so forth. I am very much worried about the conditions, especially Job Sikhala is being held under. He's being held at Chikrubi Maximum Prison under a despicable, inhuman, and which amount to violations of his rights. If we look at that, Zimbabwe, as you all know, we are educated people. The country is a lot of educated people. Besides being educated, it is one of the countries in the world where you find high literacy rate, where people can read and write. My Nunu, how are you? How are you, dear? Zimbabwe is one of the countries in the world where you can find the high rate of literacy, which means people in Zimbabwe can read and write and can also speak one of international languages. Some can speak Portuguese fluently, some can speak English fluently. So it is a country in the world that is deemed a country with educated people. These educated people, as I understand, as we are educated, we must be people who easily or quickly realize our rights, but these rights remain our rights as people, but these rights now are being trampled upon by ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF remains a major obstacle due to political control. They want to control everything. They want to control the judiciary system, which now becomes this political interference with our judiciary system ensures that there is political vendettas which take preeminence over the execution of justice. This is why I've chosen that topic to say, let's discuss this topic. Whilst we are discussing this topic, we will be looking more into previous cases. We will look more into Job Sikhala's issue. I understand the Zimbabweans are complaining that people are not doing enough to make sure that Job Sikhala is not released from prison. So I am going to look into it to say, look, what can we actually do as a people to secure the release of Job Sikhala, who to me is a political prisoner? Because if you look at if you look at the issue of Job Sikhala, and we look at the issue of the prison services, the government is simply taking advantage of our peace. How are you, Mr. Isaac? Should say we Zimbabweans are a peace-loving people. The nation is a peace-loving nation. So we have got a government that is taking advantage of that to say to say, because Zimbabweans do not like to be violent, do not like to be to revolt, do not like to be this. They are just people who are fed up with the rubbish and who only wants peace in their lives, because they want to do their own things, to feed their families, to make sure the country develop. Unfortunately, we don't have a government that allows us to remain in peace, a government that wants peace. We've got a government that doesn't want peace, a government that always pokes and provokes Zimbabweans to uprise. But as we are a people of peace, we love peace. Zimbabweans love peace. This is why you see there is unfair incarceration of Job Sikhala. This incarceration on its own has hindered the process of fair trial on the legislator. He has been in prison for 300 days, for more than 300 days. You know, we all know that 300 days, it's almost 1 year. Because Gorerne 365 days. So Job Sikhala has spent about 3/4 of a year in prison. Now, as I'm speaking, he has been in prison. So if you look at the prison services has been complaining a lot about overcrowding. And if you look at 1 in every 3 people in our prisons is waiting trial. So the service has been complaining about overcrowding in prisons. If you look at European countries, the average detention of a pre-trial prisoner or someone, an FE prisoner or someone on remand awaiting trial, if you look at the average number of days of those people in European prisons, it's just 167 days. And I'm now used to that song. Thank you, Ruru. Thank you very much. So, because we have got a sad story. One of our participants on this platform, Atete Patience Mavunga, vashaikirwa na mai wao. Saka, hey, I've took that time to explain and wish a safe journey home to go bury the mom. So I went straight into the topic of today, where I'm talking about especially incarceration of our legislator, Job Sikhala. As I promised yesterday, that starting from today, I'll be wearing black. And you are speaking the truth, Mr. Yuda. I love your speech. Thank you, Atete Catherine. Thank you so much. I said yesterday, starting from today until Independence Day passes, I'm going to wear black beret, black t-shirt, so that we commemorate the day of mourning. 18 April is not a day of independence, but it's a day of mourning. Because when we thought we were being independent, we gained independence, we were not independent at all. You can tell today, as Gasong even thanks, sweetie, my Faro, thank you so much. I think Shaka Imbagananda kupedza kadriora ndengenda mboita move away from emotions of losing mama vedu vakatiberekera one of our participants, my madzimai kana kuti amai Patience Mavunga. Zvakafanana namai Mfaru, you are always here, sweetheart, you are always here, baby. So if anything happens to you, definitely tofanirwa kuchema newe, tochema nevana veZimbabwe. Saka ndataura kuti Atete Patience Mavunga ngativabate maoko, just give a call. Hazvirevi kuti mari chete ndoyato vanokwanisa kupawo kana 10 pounds yechema zvakakwana, vanokwanisa kufonawo zvakakwana, ticheme nemwoyo wedu. Hands but akapara ye Job Sikhala asiri kutongerwa naye mukoma Yuda. This is why I'm making this presentation, mukoma Emmanuel Mavia. This is why I'm making this presentation. I need to clearly tell the world, clearly tell the people that our legislator, Job Sikhala, has not committed any crime. Hana mosha yakapara. It is the interference of justice system by the Zimbabwe government that has seen him being incarcerated longer than necessary. You understand? Because it's a political interference. Like pasina politics, justice ichingomira iri justice. And if you go to Job Sikhala angavharirwa for a day or 2 days, I'm ngopinda mkoto of Adongon's bail on the same day. And imona. So, by incarcerating him for over a year, for almost a year now, he has been in prison for almost a year. You understand? This has deprived Job Sikhala of liberty through this prolonged incarceration. His freedoms have been violated. He has been deprived of this liberty. munhu asikafanirwe kugara mujera, haana mhosva yakapara, totally haana mhosva yakapara. Gogo vanata hamuna kunonoka gogo, ndanonoka kutanga inini because yei taita dambudziko atete Patience Mavhunga vashayikirwa namai vavo, saka tinongovasenderawo macondolences, tovabatawo maoko. She's one of our regular participants on this platform. She always contribute every time yatinochema. Kwaita munhu akati ngatibatsirane. Imimi gogo vanata, I cannot mention imimi gogo because we have done more than necessary, and hapana so far munhu akaita problem akasawana your pen. So hey, kuna mwana wari so blessed. Just imagine if something happens to you, kutinosara takaita sei, andimona that is a good example ya tete Peshi vashayikirwa namai wavo. Zvinorwadza, I really understand. My mom passed away in 2002. She was just 50 years old. Now I can feel, hey, pane mambo kuti unombofamba ndaona dress vita sei, andimona, but avasipo. Because my days achawandisa man bell utsinye. Yeah, ndo zvatiri kutaura because 300, he has so far spent over 300 days in prison. You know, gore 1 year has got 365 days. Job Sikhala asarwa ne just a few 2 months or 1 month or 2 months. Could it's just less than a month yasara now. Could asvitse 1 year ari muremand prison for no crime committed. You understand? So through that prolonged incarceration, Job Sikhala has lost a lot. You see, the first thing that comes to the people's mind is this social stigmatization. Job Sikhala ibandit, that Job Sikhala is a prison. And if you say Zimbabwean government, you directly mean Mnangagwa is the one in charge. But why Mnangagwa ane moyo smara? Makanzwa teacher, makateerera ere gold mafia pachitaurwa about Mnangagwa. Akanzi is the most cruel leader in SADC. His friends told us. Ma-Asians are Dubai. Wakataura zvikanzi, hey, this is why this man is called a crocodile. He's so cruel. He's so cruel. At Sindisakadaro, we heard it from his close business associates. Mbava dzaanobanadzo goridhe renyika dzakataura the man is so cruel. And the Saka, they just confirmed what Zimbabweans knew about the man. So why now, looking at this prolonged incarceration of Honorable Job Sikhala, a lot of things, he has lost a lot of things now. He's spending a year for no crimes committed. If you look at his livelihood, obvious it changed. He lost income for almost a year. There is no company that can pay you whilst you are in prison. So it means he lost a lot in regard to livelihood. Income, the first thing is income. Tisingataure kumudzimai, tisingataure kuvana, but we look at a lot of things that Job Sikhala has lost spending that year in prison. There is this issue of stigmatization. Mazanu PF ezvinezvanonyora aumbokuudzai chimwe chandakanotisa. A lot of ZANU PF people moved away from Facebook. Vaku Twitter. Do you know why? Twitter is read by even presidents around the world. Twitter is read by celebrities around the world. Twitter is accessed by my footballers, my politicians, my presidents, everyone around the world access Twitter because in a short message, in passing. So this is why you see a lot of ZANU PF activists have migrated to Twitter, because what they are doing is they are trying to defend their callousness at a high level, especially around the world. They know that their messages can reach other presidents. They reach every country. Twitter is very effective as compared to Facebook. So this is why they go there, to stigmatize our honorable Job Sikhala. He's a criminal, this and that. But some people, they just hear about Zimbabwe. They just hear about Job Sikhala. When they try to search the Twitter to find out who is Job Sikhala, they meet this stigmatization. Messages sent on Twitter or tweeted by ZANU-PF mafias to say he is a criminal, he has done and so they formulate their conclusion before they go to Shepherd Yuda's Twitter, before they find other Twitters that will defend Job Sikhala. So with this stigmatization, it's a loss to our honorable member who has been incarcerated for over 300, for almost a year now. And if you look at the other issue that will affect Job Sikhala at the moment is exposure to prison violence. Chikuru maximum prison. Ndikakutaurirai what zvinoitika pachikuru maximum prison. It's one of the prisons that I worked at. It's a maximum prison that is used by politicians for their debt work. Remember the issue about Ndabaningi Stole and Chimwenje. That's the first issue I spoke about it. Remember the incarceration on Simon Mani. I spoke about it. I still remember very well at the Chikuru Maximum Prison where some members of CIO, Central Intelligence Organization, would come to prison pretending as prisoners. They would be incarcerated there. They spend time in prison. Those intelligence operatives. Vari mom Jerry Momuya. Which extract the information that they want. Saka, politicians, ZANU-PF government and their politicians, they have got access to that prison. Unogona jinzi uripa remand Shepherd wewe unemeda. Unengo ne warrant of detention, everything, paperwork yakaitwa ukandwa moya yo uri mCIO and on. So those things, the officer in charge and so forth, because they belong to the state, they are briefed of such covert operations done at Chikuru Maximum Prison. So people must be very careful, very careful with those who are incarcerated at the prison. Onogona Job Sikhala achenda kukota akaiswa ma-restraints, ma-leg-irons and so forth. Akasungirwa to someone. He could be that someone akasungirwa na Job Sikhala, who is a Mo or Chipoko or CIO, who is bound to go sympathize with Job Sikhala, collect any information that they want. So, Sikhala is at risk or is exposed at the moment to especially prison violence. Because munhu yekanogona nguva yachita sembanditika iye ari munhu weintelligence. Ototanga noise na Job Sikhala. Sikhala otokuwadzwa mujeri. Andimona. Obvanza mubvise section, ngabviswe section, aiswe nemwe section, akutobuda jera akutoenda kumba. Mission accomplished. Saka ill treatment of on our honorable member of parliament incarcerated at Chikuru Maximum cannot be ruled out. Ill treatment by prison officers cannot be ruled out. I've seen a lot, guys. When I talk, learn something from my presentations, because when I talk about incarcerations, when I talk about prison conditions and so forth, I'm talking of things that I know, things that I've seen, things that you never came across. You understand? Kismo Jirise Bamnin. Saka, this is why I'm saying torture on its own. Torture is not just physical torture, it's mental torture, different types of torture that can be used against our member of parliament. So ZANU-PF government is incarceration of our member of parliament. Again, it is something that undermines the presumption of innocence. This unnecessary prolonged stay of Job Sikhala in prison, obvious. If we talk about stigmatization, this incarceration, it undermines that principle of presumption of innocence. Because when you are arrested, unengo satwa guilt, unengo still convicted, the law presumes that you are still innocent until you are proven through trial, fair trial. long time mukuru makadi ndakasimba pamnini zviri kufamba here. So if you see all these prolonged, imagine this unnecessary prolonged stay, incarceration of prisoners. Kuti kana zvichiitika kune member of parliament yakaita saJob Sikhala, a well-known member of parliament, a prominent figure in Zimbabwe politics. How about vamwe vaiva musingazivi? Who are just picked vachinzi ndiwe triple C, who are just picked vachinzi ndiwe MDC. If this happens to a prominent figure in Zimbabwe politics, how about other people that are not known in that country, who are political activists? When a member of parliament, a prominent person, can be incarcerated for a year for no crimes committed. So this contributes, this is why you see, or this contributes to this chronic costly overcrowding of Zimbabwe prisons. Jerry a capacity of 16,000 people, but Jerry 24,000 people. Where are the other people coming from? These are political prisoners who are people who are just being picked. Because the state has proved it, that they can do it. When they can incarcerate someone, who can detain a prominent figure like an honorable member of parliament like Job Sikhala. You understand? So you find 30% of the total population of our prisons, especially our 30% of the total population of our prisons are a result of the inefficiency of the Zimbabwe justice delivery system. Because it's a captured judiciary system, where if someone is triple C, anongonzi akangoonekwa akavhara road nedanda achikambena. Saka judge already, a captured judge, a captured magistrate can't grant bail. Just to put that person in custody and forget about him. This is exactly what they've done to our honorable member of parliament, Job Sikhala. And those incarcerations are the ones that increases the prison population. But when they increase the prison population, the conditions that those prisoners live, hakuna chikafu, hakuna hembe, hakuna magumbezi, hakuna mvura, hakuna chi. So you wonder what type of prisons Zimbabwe prisons are. And more. So what Zimbabwe needs to do, like I mentioned yesterday, that look, I'm coming, starting now, wearing black. This is in solidarity with the death of a country. When we talk about the death of a country, we also include things like direct and indirect control of the justice system. As you see, the direct control or this indirect control has ensured that independence and neutrality of key institutions, akaita semapurisa, akaita se-Attorney General's office, even this judiciary system has been hindered. There is no independence at all. There is no neutrality at all. So those systems are under political control by the government. So they lose their neutrality. This is why I've said, zvakaitwa madzibaba Godfrey kuti vakangobatwa vachifamba havo muroad vakaendeswa kuHarare Central. Takanzwa vakutaura pane masiyaiwo paya, vakutaura kuti vaitosungirirwa zvidhina kumabhora kuZasu, vaifamba vachinzi famba. Imagine kuti mabhora aya emunhu wechirume, 2 mabhora aya, how sensitive they are. Vari kutora, hana mhosva yakapara. He was just walking muHarare, akapfeka regalia yake, ndobva vatomuhaka pavamubata, ndobva vamusa motikari yepolisi. It looks like a genuine arrest, but arrested for what? For walking muHarare. Andimona vamusunga, vakaenda naye kuHarare Central. Masiya vakauya vakamusungirira zvidhina kumabhora. I know kuti vanhu vakadzi, they don't understand this. Ndakambonzwa, ndakanetsana nemukadzi wangu mumwe musi achiti nhumbu inorwadza. Ndikati shamwari, dai ungaone mabhora ndipo waiziva kuti mabhora anorwadza. Kikwa mabhora unzwa. Ya, unonyatsonzwa kuti ya mweya unomboenda, unombopera mweya ukikwa mabhora. Unombopera mweya kuenda. Munhu wechirume anofenda nenyaya yemabhora. And zvinhu zviri permanent zvokuti pain yacho haipere. Unongoti anytime yawabatwa wakangotsikwa kana ngonzi mabhora iwayo unonzwa mweya wako uchienda kupera. Madzibaba Godfrey Karemba was abducted in town nemapurisa nemaCIO, taken to Harare Central Prison Police. Vakatanga kusungirirwa mabhora zvidhina pamabhora vachinzifamba akasungwa mabhora zvidhina. That type of torture. Adaro, they took him to prison. They took him to court. Mumosha yacho takanzwa kuti anzi aida to deface chidhori chambuya nanda. Wochitarisa kwaakasungirwa kwacho nekune chidhori chambuya nanda. It doesn't make sense. And so this political control or direct interference with the mass systems, akaita se police, they cause such unnecessary arrests of political prisoners, and they are put in prison. They are incarcerated, and they are tortured for no apparent reason. Majaji acho ngonzwa kuti ndo madzibaba weshanduko wayo anobva atonzi you are remanded in custody. I'm sure yave ndosaka vasingabvumidzwe kurowa pamabhora. Even in boxing kana mbora chaimo bhora arowe mabhora arowa arowe mabhora andimona. Saka neutrality of our institutions, especially the judiciary system, the Attorney General's office, the prison services and the police, their neutrality has been hindered by this direct control or indirect control of this is what we call the criminal justice system in our country, which includes the AG, police, prison, and the judiciary. So the direct or indirect control of these institutions, it makes it very difficult for justice to be administered in our country. The neutrality of these institutions is very important in any country, but in our country they are not neutral. They are controlled by politicians. This is why you see Job Sikhala has been incarcerated now for almost a year without a trial. Justice denied. Justice delayed is justice denied. They say that in law. And so this excessive detention or incarceration, it undoubtedly violates Job Sikhala's rights to freedom, Job Sikhala's rights to dignity, and a speedy trial. These rights are enshrined in the Zimbabwean constitution, but they are being violated by a state because they want to fix Job Sikhala. Vanda kumufixa kuti Sikhala afile hit. But our constitution does not allow this. This is injustice being done. It's not only our constitution. There are national laws. There are regional laws. There are international statutes. This is the reason why tichitaura kuti sei Zimbabwe iri pama-sanctions. Varakashi vanenge vachi, ma-sanctions akazodii. I think Varakashi, they are not reasoning enough to see why Zimbabwe now should be put on total sanctions. Targeted sanctions doesn't help. I'm glad that Ziyambi lost Kwazimbo. Akadyiwa. People are hurt with this incarceration of Job Sikhala. And when vakaenda kunovhota kuti Ziyambi adyiwe, havasi vanhu vezanu ka. Nematriple C nemachinja aripo ipapo. Vakadoti uyu munhu must not come back to parliament. And twice he has been defeated. handimona takadzirwa ziyambi kushaya muromo kushaya tsitsi. No sane Zimbabwean would want to associate with the ziyambi. This is why you see even machinja nema triple C vakabatana neZANU-PF kuenda kunomubvisa. Handimona people are so tired. Nevanhu vakadasana ziyambi havana pfungwa. Saka maprimary eZANU aya haana kukondeswa nevanhu veZANU chete, akakondeswa nevanhu vetriple C, akakondeswa nevanhu veMDC, including vanhu veZANU masero imomo. Saka vakabvisa munhu akaita sana ziyambi. So recent developments akaitwa iwayo ekumeka sure kuti ziyambi will never come back to parliament. Because ukatarisa Job Sikhala achienda kukoti unobva wafunga kuti pamwe ndiye akauraya Ali, more blessing Ali. If people ask why Job Sikhala is in prison, then if we tell them that this member of parliament has been put in prison for representing a client or for representing a family that had a sister or a mother murdered by ZANU-PF. Makosa wayi, mkomaida wayi, I'm well, zirudi. Andimona. So, pamtoda careful explanation so that people understand. Because at the end, people might think, saka uyakaswa malega yonzi ma restraints. Nemazisimba aya akasungirwa kune mumwe munhu achifamba ari kwechera achibuda mugrey Maria. Saka ndiye akauraya More Blessing Ali. Iye asiri. The people who killed More Blessing Ali are walking scot-free outside. More Blessing paakatorwa akaiswa mumotikari yamember of parliament akadriverwa where she was killed, and that member of parliament has never been arrested. Vanhu vakabatsira mvanha yekutakura board vaita dismember the board vachida kunokanda muchitsimemwemwe, they were never arrested. Because mvanha uyoyo kuti atakure mukadzi mukuru akaita saMore Blessing uya akunouraya ega, that is impossible. So the truth is not being told, and Job Sikhala is suffering for representing that. ZANU-PF does not want that to come out. And this is why you see, even during the period of investigation, and changoshika mukuru maswera ze boer ndaswera magzviri sei uri right here mwana wamai shikako. So I'm talking about the incarceration of Job Sikhala. Our topic today is political vendetta, which seemingly taking pre-eminence over the execution of justice. Prosper Jirise Ndagasimba and so we are talking about the capture of the institutions in our country, the capture of the judiciary system in our country, and the prolonged incarceration of perceived opponents of the state, opponents of the government, and capturing of our courts to make sure that those people suffer in prison. This is something very painful, very painful. Painful. So this is the reason why today I thought, okay, let me concentrate on what is causing this prolonged incarceration. Why the abuse of power by the state. We have witnessed even extrajudicial killings by the ZANU-PF government. So these are things that I say today, let me pay concentration on that. Let me search. Mareasons akada say kuti chii chiri kumboitika. Andimona. Ndosaka muri kuona izvinezvi, even gold mafia yai, they operated well because they are protected by the president of state, by Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. andimona. Recently takanzwa nyaya dzekunzi even Mr. Sikhala's medication for blood pressure has been withdrawn whilst he's in prison. So if you ask why prison services is involved in withdrawing a prisoner's medication, why? What do they want to achieve? Ndakataura panapa, ndakaenda pazimai ndakataura. Problem yaitika apa. The officer in charge of Arch Group Maximum Prison. Munhu wandakagara naye. Asi munhu wekuti ndingaudzwa nevanhu kuti gukurume munhu akaita sei. Because vana gukurume paakauya I'm too junior kuna gukurume. I was too junior. He was very senior. Pandakapinda basa anga atovepo. Ndo varidzi vemabhiza kuenda kuprison vanokutashwa mabhiza vaiva. To be honest with you guys, like what I said last time, kuti gukurume, most gukurume is the least person one can think can make those decisions kuti ndiri withdraw mapirisi aJob Sikhala kuti blood pressure. Inini ndosaka muona ndakaramba inini kuti ndifunga kuti that order came from gukurume. He is not that type of a person. Vanhu vanoziva gukurume taimuti jongwe during our time tiri kuprison. He's a fun gentleman, a nice gentleman. Ukuti ukada advice, taiti kana tikada advice, he was there to give us advice gukurume oyo. Kundimuti politician, he has got nothing to do with the politics. As far as I know gukurume. Munhu ndakagara naye ukasvika kuprison kuya kuchikurubi training depot. Kure uchingopinda uchibva nekumandara kuna Pringu. Ukapinda unosvika paNew Camp. Ukasvika paNew Camp ukaramba uchifamba unoona pane mapuranga, dzimba dzemapuranga dziripo so. Padzimba dzemapuranga ipapo ndo pataigara nagukurume. Tine same rank ari junior. Ari junior prison officer, ari PO2. Tine same rank. Taigara ipo paya. Munhu wandaingoti ndikamona ndaingoti mukoma, I respected him a lot because munhu yane akuti kana ukada advice even kuzvezve kunetsana nevakadzi kunzi munorovana nevakadzi zvezve. Gukurume aiuya okutaura aikutora omira newe panze apo okutaura kuti mufana at your age honestly uchiri kurovana nemukadzi, kurwa nemukadzi. Zvikanzi I don't see munhu wechirume akaita sewe achisimudza ruoko kurova mukadzi. I don't expect that. Munhu uya ari so peaceful. Munhu uya kuti kana ukataura naye gukurume unonyatsonzwa kuti ndapuwa advice. Mazuva atakatanga zvinhu zvedu zvepolitics takuti chinja tiri muMDC. Akanditaurira inini akanditi baba munini muri prison officer. Zvekupindana nezvematongerwo enyika zvepolitics izvi I don't advise you muningi wangu. Siyana nazvo. Nyazi, how are you? I'm talking about the gukurume that I know. Not the gukurume that I heard. Kunzi ndo zvaari kuita kuprison. No. Aive munhu wekuti I'm not related to him. We were just my workmates. Plus andinabva ndamboshanda naye. Asi aingogara musame area. Iye aishanda kumabhiza. Ndaishanda kutraining depot ndichitraina maprison officers. But munhu wekuti akakuona uchita zvakashata anokutsura. Is a down-to-earth man, a Christian. This is someone that, this is the gukurume that I know, Moses. Wandiri kutaura panapa. Even achiroora mukadzi wake akaroora takatarisa. Tigara pamapuranga ipapo. Tatarisa kuti Blazu yatoroora. Vanhu vaitomuti senior bachelor achifamba nekamotikari. Ave nekamotikari kake so kaifamba nako. Ndakatadza kuzati kamotikari kerudzi. Kaifamba nako so vanhu vaiti senior bachelor Blazu. Vanhu vachimuseka but akazoroora. Akaroora. Akatoroora mukadzi wekuti ukatomira apa taitoti tichitotaura mukadzi wacho you was so quiet. Mukadzi wacho is so quiet up to today. I don't know. I last spoke to them when I was in Zimbabwe. Mukadzi wagukurume pakafa baba vangu akandipa blanket randakanofukidza baba vangu, blanket randakavhara naro baba vangu ndakaripiwa nemukadzi wagukurume. Anga ari munhu wekuti ave netsitsi. Vanhu ava, it's a nice family as far as I understand, but I don't know, people change. But ndiri kutaura munhu wandoziva, gukurume wandoziva. Ndakatombotsvagawo nhamba dzake ndichida kutaura naye. Vanhu vari kuramba, vanhu vakandinyima. Ndaida kunyatsonzwisisa kuti dai gukurume chii andimaona, but vanhu vakataura hatina nhamba. Magadhani aiziva ese vakaramba, hatina nhamba. Vanhu vangozongosiyana nazvo andimaona. So this problem yekuti job scholar this, job scholar that, prison has become a habitual instrument to impose the will of the stronger to the weaker. The will of ZANU-PF. When ZANU-PF look at themselves, they think we are very weak. They think they are the strongest in whatever they do. So they utilize the prison services just to vanoshandisa prison services kuda kufixa my opponents. Incarceration of opponents in the prison is done by ZANU-PF and its government just to fix political opponents, because they think they are in a stronger position, we are in a weaker position, so we must be fixed every time and then. And all. So this is why I've said government now, or ZANU-PF government, is taking advantage of how peaceful Zimbabweans are. We are a peace-loving nation. We are a peace-loving people. So they take that advantage. This is why you see they've even incarcerated the Sikhala for over a year now, for almost a year now. So they are hindering the process of free trial. They want to make sure that they influence the trial of Job Sikhala. Ana Moshe Yakapara, 300 days in prison. The government has failed even to bring those charges against him. They failed to try him, but they are just keeping him there. Wakambona ma reasons anotaurwa nema magistrate. Kana panonzi naya Job Sikhala nasi, a bail application kuda kuitwa nasi. Prosecutor has we. The other day, you see, the prosecutor is not there. They try to look for a prosecutor, you can't find him. What's next? They just say remanded in custody. Because mutemo notaura kuti remand FE prisoner is done every 2 weeks. Saka anenge achingoenda achingoremandwa in custody. Nhasi akaenda anzi magistrate varwara. Mangwana akaenda magistrate avabatikana vari busy. Kana magistrate varipo vanongoti kuti ano tachimboongorora pane zvatoda kuongorora. So we are remanded to further until 1 year munhu ari in prison asina mhosva yakapara. Andiona ndo patinge ukanzwa patenge takutaura kuti nai mazano, why do you cry about sanctions when you do zvinhu zvakadaro zviri pachena zvinotooneka kuti vakomana mungaitawo zvinhu zvakadaro here? Zvinotanga kubva even crime yacho chinzi Job Sikhala asungwa, ukada kuvabvunza kuti asungirwei, hazvina kana substance, because before a person is arrested, facts are put on the ground. What do they do? Maybe in the inyika dzinoidzi, but kunana Zimbabwe, you are arrested first before investigations are done. Kune dzimwe nyika, they first investigate. When they investigate, they study the facts that will be used to identify, locate, and prove your guilt before you are arrested in other countries. Hanzi kuchema nema sanction is strategy yavo yekuluta, definitely. Saka to me, ndosaka mjona inini ndakaita applied science and forensic investigation, because investigation is an applied science. Being an applied science, it involves this study of facts used to identify, locate, and prove the guilt of a criminal before trial. This is what I was taught. This is what I learned. That investigation, criminal investigation on its own is an applied science. So usually, people are arrested after these facts have been studied. Do we have the evidence? Before you arrest a person. If you look at the issue of Job Sikhala today, he has spent almost a year in prison. Look at the facts that led Sikhala to be arrested. The state can't find any evidence that can prove his guilt. So if you ask them, why did you arrest Job Sikhala in the first place? And why is he being denied a bail in the first place? And it's like they are holding Sikhala legally for the murder of Ali, no blessing Ali. But Sikhala is a representative of the family. Yeah, more blessing Ali, the late more blessing Ali. So, ZANU-PF government now, because you cannot keep someone in custody for a year without bringing the issue of Magam Sungira to trial. Instead, so these prosecutors in Zimbabwe and our courts, they must end this incarceration of Job Sikhala. Because they've failed to find materials to prove that he's guilty of any crime. Sikhala is innocent. So this prolonged incarceration must come to an end now. It must come to an end. Otherwise, they are trying to provoke Zimbabweans with White Ruja, of which I've said Zimbabweans are a peace-loving people. But kana vagumbuka vanhu vekuzimbabwe nosauri kuona vakaenda kuhondo yechimurenga kunorovana naIan Smith. Zvimwe zvinhu zvine kaumwari mukati. Musatarisira pasi mavhesi aikotwa naPresident Nelson Chamisa. Because Mwari chaiwo watonamata akasika vanhu. Mwari watonamata akasika vanhu. Ukada kuona kuti vana veIsraeri vari muIjipita, Mwari vakatuma Mozisi kuenda kuno negotiate naFaro kuti regera vana ava vabude munyika muno. Uri kuvakanisa zvidhina nemate. Uri kuvaitisa chine. Ande muri kuona? Faro akaoma musoro, Mwari akapindira. Ishu yeZimbabwe yamuri kuona iyi, incarceration yaJob Sikhala iyi, Mwari vakapindira unochema mnangagwa. Because ukada kuona Mwari zvaakataura kare pakasunungurwa nyika yeZimbabwe, vavengi vaitaura kuti never in 1,000 years would this country be ruled by a black man. But what God did, you saw it happening. That a black man ruled that country before 1,000 years that was stated by Ian Smith. So God hasn't stopped speaking to these people. This is why we're going now, Tana President Nelson Chamisa, all of a sudden he became a popular opposition leader. It's not by chance, it's by God's will. God makes it happen. God is in it. Look at what happened by exposure of gold mafia. Hapana kana effort yakaisa angonyora kuti God is in it. Boom. Munanga agwa expose. Nevanhu vasinei neopposition politics. Andiona. Saka tiri kutaura kuti they are trying to they are making it like, or as if Job Sikhala is legally held for the murder of Mo Blessing Ali, which is not it. He never committed a crime. He is just representing the family of a murdered political activist. So this prolonged incarceration must come to an end. Because to spend a year, remand in custody, that means you have got no materials to prove that Job Sikhala is killed. So what needs to be done? The right thing is to release Job Sikhala now. Because if you don't release Job Sikhala now, you are now provoking peaceful Zimbabweans to become violent, of which Zimbabweans kana vapanduka ndosaka ndati bvunzai Smith dai ari mupenya yekutaurira kuti aifunga kuti vanhu ava vapanduka vanhu vakasimuka vakaenda musango vakanotrena vakadzoka hondo ikatsva kusvika hondo yapera. So the right to fair trial, this is a fundamental right guaranteed by human rights themselves. This is where the process or the concept of rule of law is centered. And Murgona. Saka, if we have a justice system that is supposed to administer justice in our country, but it's failing to administer that justice because it's a captured justice system, that means that they are provoking the peace-loving people of Zimbabwe. They are provoking the peace-loving police officers. They are provoking the peace-loving soldiers in our country. Peace-loving police officers in our country. Be warned, ZANU-PF government, that your provocation might prove otherwise. The people of Zimbabwe might uprise against you. And when they uprise against you, one way Zimbabwe want to chauya, Baba. And you will feel it. Because what you are showing here, you are showing us a well-networked ZANU-PF system, which poses a risk in effective implementation of justice in our country. I don't know if you don't see it, but I'm highlighting very important things here to those Varakash to see. Good, Tukutara Nyaye, prominent member of parliament, who has been incarcerated for over a year now, for almost a year now. How about the little known politicians who are in prison, contributing to the overcrowding of the prison, which result in the financial constraints of the organization? Because prison yacho haichakwanisi kuvafidha, haichakwanisi kuvapa hembe dzekupfeka, haina chaichakwanisa kuvaitira, zvasingokanda vanhu mujeri kuti ndai munofa ikoko, which is wrong, which is abuse of their rights. And because ukada kuona the role of the prison or the purpose of the prison, the primary responsibility of the prison and the prison officers. Prison officers are people who are supposed to ensure that human rights are followed. Whatever is entitled to Job Sikhala should never be impinged. Job Sikhala must never be restricted to anything that he is entitled to. And in Murwana, this process of incarceration by the judiciary, this process of incarceration by the prison services must ensure that no rights of a prisoner are impinged. Hands with Gwangu. Gwangu anogara ari pano. Lo mushi. Gwangu amuzive here man. Anogara ari pano. Ndofunga azipo here nasi. Andisukudzona. But 23 people watching andisukudzona. Hanzi na Stanford. It's true. When the time comes, no one can stop it. Chino chikaiswa mkona. Chofanewe. Ndo chokwadi. Anonzi Gwangu ndi mkoma Thomas Mtangiri. Ndotaura kuti vanhu vamuzive because voice rake riri very common. he can't not change his voice. Manzo era achifonera Mnangagwa. Mdara mtangiri. Mdara mtangiri. Akapenga mdara uya. Ndazwa achifonera Mnangagwa achimutaurira chokwadi. Chokwadi chakazara pachena rubvu. Cash talk breaks no friendship. Ndo zvachitaurwa namukoma gwangu. Andimona. Saka nyaya yati kutaura panapa ndeyekuti Honorable Job Sikhala has been denied justice. By now, the state or Zimbabwe government is so ashamed. Emerson Mnangagwa is so ashamed. The whole system is so ashamed. Andimona. Because Mnangagwa has denied Job Sikhala justice. Why? Why is denied justice? Because last time the reason people from reliable sources why Job Sikhala is incarcerated. Because very good Job Sikhala akaenda akataura nemauto. Saka akanga asvika extend yekuti akuda kuita kuti vana Mnangagwa wamhanyiswa. Zvikandosaka waona Job Sikhala achitaura kuti Mnangagwa uri mupurwa. Anzena momuudza kuti uri mupurwa ana Job Sikhala uri mupurwa. Saka those are some of the things that contributed to their decision to say, let's put him in prison forever. But no one is going to live forever in that donga. It's unfortunate, Mr. Mnangagwa. No matter how much you might want to restrict Job Sikhala's movement, the only thing is to try and they are trying to incapacitate Job Sikhala. Because they know elections are by the corner. Job agatanga ukambena, they feel him. They feel him. Anzi mazimba atina hasha, dai takabatana nyika ingadai isina kusvika patiri nhasi. Ndo chokwadi atetabi. That is the truth. That's the truth. Ndosaka ndataura kuti imimika, you are known as peace-loving people. Zimbabwe is a peace-loving nation. Kuti pairi ancharumbira audio leaks achikumbira kiss. Unaona yatambwa charumbira yaye ndo yakatambwa Kembo Mohad. Nyaya yacharumbira iri panyaya yekuti akasangana naChamisa and akatrita Chamisa zvakanaka semwana Chamisa mwana wacharumbira ka. Mnangagwa is not happy about charumbira. Saka akushandwa manje. Vakumushanda. It's not an audio that leaked. I think CIO iri kumushanda. Ari kushandwa. Akushandwa. Chief charumbira vakushandwa politically. Andimona. Saka ndiri kutaura ini ndikati what ZANU-PF is doing, especially in the issue of our member of parliament, they are trying to restrict Job Sikhala's movements. They think that they are incapacitating him so that he won't be there when elections are being held. So it's another way they are holding him as a punishment. In his incarceration is punitive. But if we look at the severity of the crime committed, alleged to have been committed, you wonder. Because at the end, we go out, nyaya yagarira Job Sikhala mujeri kana akanzi aconvictwa anogona kubva anzi 50 RTGS fine or just 1 week in prison. Anzi hakuna sendi rinoenda mahara politics style pakaipa. So you find Job Sikhala has been incarcerated for 300 something days, almost a year. But on the day of conviction, if they had tried and convicted him, Mosha yacho vari kupomera yacho yoyo, maybe inongotora about 1 week in prison or $50 fine. And he has spent a year in prison. It's because they want to incapacitate him. And on. And the ZANU-PF is not concerned about the effect of prison population. They don't care about that. They don't care about overcrowding. They don't care about the economic impact of incarcerating one prison. Like Mamji Zodi Mbanditi, prisoner or tsotsi or bandit anodya chi every single day what he is entitled to. So incarcerating Job Sikhala for such a prolonged time, it has got it costs a lot to the state. It contributes to overcrowding of the prison. It has got this effect on the prison's population. And in more. Saka because tinotungamirwa nemadofo, vanhu vasinga understand the cost of incarcerating one prisoner as an FE. How it contributes to overcrowding. Because adding innocent people to prison does not alleviate overcrowding. It contributes to overcrowding. It contributes to the costs. The state incurs costs of keeping those people in prison. Akarwara, the state inenge ida kubhadhara medical attention, mishonga, zvakawanda, chikafu, anda magumbezi, anda magetsi, anda mvura, zvakawanda zvinodiwa to incarcerate. It's very expensive. Ndosaka uchiona nyika dzino idzi vachikonzera zvakarasana parole, vachikonzera zvekuti aiwa ngatongo munhu achibva kumba. Police yemunomu inopa bail. If you are arrested in this country, the police grants you bail, not court, the police. Because they know the costs of keeping one prisoner in prison. So they cut the costs. And the more. Saka tichibvunza mvunzo nai vamunangagwa sekubvunzwa kwawaita naGwangu. Handi nai vamunangagwa. Mukaisa Job Sikhala kujeri, moisa Shepherd Yuda kujeri, motora vafana vamuri kunhonga murodhumu muchiti vakadhakwa nemadrugs muchikanda kujeri. Are you alleviating overcrowding in prison? Is your government capable of looking after them? Which is a no. And more. Ndo pamunonzwa vanhu vachitaura kuti Zimbabwe now needs a new government. It needs new leadership. Because if you have got new government, if you've got a new leadership, when you are critical in reasoning, they look at all these facts. Why are we keeping Job Sikhala in prison? What are the benefits to the state? What are the benefits, honestly? If we are crying of overcrowding in our prisons, why are we keeping Job Sikhala in prison? Saka zvaakuda munhu anorizina. Zvakuda leadership inepfungwa inoona the impact or the effect of overpopulation to a prison, especially when it comes to spread of diseases in the prison, and how much the prison services will waste to kuendesa vanhu kumadoctors. Vamantoda ma-specialists to treat them. Saka that cost to the state inoda munhu anorizina. Ndosaka muchiona zvichinzi commissioner general of prison haafanirwi kuve a politician akaita sana vana chihubva. Because these are some of the reports that he should be recommending to the government. Kuti guys, muri kutiremedza as a prison services. Incarcerating such people does not serve anything. We are wasting money. Motikari inoda kuescotwa kuenda kuchipatara, motikari inoda kuescotwa kuenda kumakotsi, panodiwa fuel, zvakawanda zvinodiwa. Kuenda kwavari vanoda chikafu vanoda kunodya ikoko kwavari kuenda. Andini mona vana chiremba vacho vari kuzouya kuzoongorora musungwano vaida kubhadhara. So that idea of incapacitating Job Sikhala by incarcerating him becomes very expensive to the state. And more. Imi. And so zonda gumbura vanhu here. Boss kana love kana like and ndawana nhasi hapana. Boss when I'm talking to you and chinyaso kuratidza reality kuti vhurikai pfungwa vana veZimbabwe. Ndokona imurizi kana wana anomboti Shepherd love kana like zvayo. Kana star zvayo kuti mwana babatsirika kubhadhara internet. Makagumbuka sure. I don't know whether I touched your nerves. but I don't want to touch your nerves. I want you get informed. Tag Vana Mnangagwa on this type of presentations. Tag the government ministers. Dosaka muchona padyiwa ziyambi nangoti avazimbabwenzi vanenge vamuka. Because if you consider what I've told you today, that restricting job Sikhala or incapacitating job Sikhala, it will cost a lot to the state. It costs a lot. It contributes to the overcrowding of the prison. It does not alleviate that. And it murugona. Saka, zvine economical impact. Sezvandataura zvazvo. Kuti musungwana ari kujeri under magetsi, under mvura, under uniform, under chikafu, under mishonga akarwara, under madoctors, under azvipereded. Saka a politician who does not consider this, anongo consider, let's incapacitate him without considering the economic impact that individual prisoner has. Mujeri munenge mune prison, Zimbabwe prison services inenge ne 24,000 prisoners. Vese vachida ukaziva zvinoda one prisoner, then you multiply by 24, you see the economic impact of it. That someone who is incarcerating on a job Sikhala does not reason, does not care about the state, does not care about the government. Ndopa munozona pakunzi guys, ipai vanhu vamabhero vaende kumba. Ndopa munona pakunzi vanhu vangawapo, even vasungwa chaivo vari convicted, vanonzi ngavapiwe presidential pardon, vabude mujeri, because nyika inenge yaremerwa nekuvachengeta. And so what is important now is treating Job Sikhala as a human being, treating those prisoners who are suffering under the prison system as human beings. These people have got rights which are never transferable. They've got rights that were given to them naturally. But a right to life, a good example is the right to life. Zvatainzwa zvanachitaura pakutanga zvokuti tikunzwa kuti anzi mapirits chaiyo BP yakawithdraw. That's denying Job Sikhala right to life. And it on. Saka tikaita problem yekuti ne primitive leaders, people who has got this fault understanding, especially Varakashi, when a fault understanding, they look at the punitive aspect of the prison services. They don't look at the impact of the economical impact on the government of incarcerating one person, multiplying by 24,000 prisoners countrywide. And on. Because you are subjecting those prisoners to form of brutality. You are subjecting them, you are promoting, especially if you go to maximum prison. Ndakapashanda paipe. Mune magenga mukati mwe magenga. Mune magenga mukati mwe. Iwe mujeri mune magenga, ndo mune magenga. Madrugs anodhiliwa mujeri. Vanhu mabanditi ari mujeri vanenge vane cocaine muya. Mune mapanga majeri, mune pfuti majeri muyama. Mune magenga. Andrukona. Saka incarcerating munhu akaita saJob Sikhala wewe, munenge muchipromota zvinhu zvakaita senge brutality chaiyo. You are brutalizing his rights. Andrukona. At the end, ndambotaura ndikati, I know zvinoitika paya pamaximum paya. Pane matsotsi anorovana, kuurayana, kurovana matsotsi. Hachada kutaura zvimwe zviyazve zvinoitika mujeri. Bo zvimwe zvacho ndakambozviona live. Ndakwenyewa, paive nemubhanditi ainzi Jack paRimandi prison. Akandikwenya akati, chef, mashura ari musero. Ngadi ndava zvakaendai munoona. Saka ndakanyangira kuti nyawa ndichinopinda musero. Munongonzwa imi. Munongonzwa vanhu vachizviramba indakazviona live pajeri. Live. Tsotsi richitwa mukadzi nerimwe tsotsi. Andibona. Saka uri kuona incarceration yakadaro yakaita sezviri kuitwa naJob Sikhala zvinopromota physical abuse chaiyo musungwa. Anenge kune magadhi jeri varipo who are politically affiliated to ZANU-PF. Obvious, they can subject our member of parliament to physical abuse. Inside the prison, Job is at risk of custodial violence. This can never be denied by the government. Because when we are incarcerated Job Sikhala, they've never been inside the prison. They've never been prisoners. A prison officer is well informed of what happens inside the prison because Gadi Jere anoshanda 24/7 mjere. Judge ashande 24/7 mjere. Magistrate ashande 24/7 mjere. He can visit for 30 minutes, can visit for an hour, but does not know how prisoners live. So if you want to be well versed about what happens inside the prison, better talk to a prison officer. And I was very safe with my prison officers. My prison officers are going training or agenda headquarters. They've never searched a prisoner. They've never escorted a prisoner. They don't know what happens inside the prison. And in the morning. Saka, what is happening now to Job Sikhala? The state has exposed him to custodial violence. The state has exposed him, or the state is promoting physical abuse of our member of parliament. This type of brutality by the state only comes when the state looks at incarcerating opposition members as a punitive aspect of the government. That must stop. That must cease. That must stop, and it must cease. Because that if you look at the term Job Sikhala has been incarcerated now, it's a longer term than even the rigorous sentence that he would be handed over if ever convicted. Ndrikuti nini Job Sikhala akatongwa nhasi mhosva yagara mujeri for 360 plus years days. Imhosva yekuti anogona kutongwa 1 week in prison or 50 RTGS fine, which is about 5 cents or 2 cents fine. But he has spent 360 days incarcerated there. This is the sad state that Zimbabweans are finding themselves in. It's like a curse to be born in Zimbabwe. It's like a curse to be born in Zimbabwe. Because these unjust incarcerations, they ensure that the prison services exceed its holding capacity. The number of inmates who are on pre-trial or FEs, probably about 30% of 24,000 people are awaiting trial. And most of those people are political activists who never committed any crime. And by continuing to arrest people, you are increasing that number. And that number, it just needs a person to understand, or a minister of justice to understand, that the government is punitive aspect of incarceration. It has got some adverse economic impact on what? On the people of a country. The economy yenyika inoaffectwa zvakanyanya nedhis, but zvakuda minister of justice anorizina. Ndosaka muri kuona ziyambi akwaturwa, munanga gwatira kumuseva rirani akwaturwa futi. So it is a deep matter of concern to every Zimbabwean. It's a deep matter of concern to all of us. Why Job Sikhala is denied bail? Why Job Sikhala's human rights are being impinged? Why is the government so hard-handed on Job Sikhala? Why is the government promoting this prison overcrowding, human rights violations at its highest level? Those are irresponsible statements. Very responsible statements coming from people who do not understand what I'm telling you here. Ndosaka muchona chitaura kuti vatagei vanhu avo. When I'm doing my presentations, tag them. At least I might help 1 or 2 ministers in our country to understand this. If they don't understand this, how can you be a minister? Nyika iri kukwara nemapotholes. Nyika haina mishonga kuzvipatara. You are further incarcerating innocent people. How much do you spend in looking after one prison a day? And how much does the state use to look after one prison? Saka zvakuda imi my youth, today's youth. Ndimi makutarisirwa mayouth enyika yeZimbabwe. Andi muri kuona vanhu vakaenda kuhondo vaive vakalidwa nevanhu vakuru vakaita sesu. But vakanopinda kunorwa vachimhanya vachiridza pfuti, they were youth. Today's youth makuwara nemutoriro, makuwara nembanje, makuwara nemadrugs. Are you serious about your future? And vazhinji venyu kana wadhakwa nemadrugs wakufunga kuti ucharamba uri youth. Haumbofi wakaramba uri youth. Uri kutokura, uri kutochembera. You will never remain youth, but uri kukura, uri kuchembera. Uchatosvika pakuita mudhara. Ndo mazidhara amunoona asina mazino mukanwa, aora mazino nemadrugs. Uchasvika pakutadza kusimuka kufamba kana kubata badza kuenda kumaricho kunosakura kuti udye, unenge usina pekugara. Because you spend your life on drugs, you spend your life concentrating on things that does not develop a country. I am talking to you, youth of Zimbabwe, that this is your time. That this is your time. If you look at corruption in our country, is in full throttle whilst the youth are just watching, doing nothing. Youth, today's youth, you are doing nothing. Isusu patatiri mayouth, isusu taimhanya tichi, ndakazwa mukoma wangu Thomas Mukanya achiti when they were youth, ndo vaitema mazimotikari emasoja aya emuhondo nematombo, vachikanda matombo. Isusu, during our time when we were youth, ndisu taiona kuti mabasa MDC, basa riri kumhanya ere MDC. Tikati mademonstration, tikati chi, waitona tiri paforefront tiri mayouth. Tasvika pakukura, we never achieved anything. We are lucky kuti vamwe vakaita sesu, we are lucky kuti takazobuda takauya kunyika dzakaita sana England, sekuti ukarara nenzara panapa unobata foni ofonera member of parliament, vana vangu hawana chekudya, panoya food hamba panapa. KuZimbabwe unofonera ani? Ndikarwara panapa panoya ambulance. Ndofunga pandakarwara COVID makazviona panapa. Pakaya doctor panapa. Pakaya ambulance pano. Kana ndikarwara pekuti ndikuda attention kune hospital iri kuNewcastle, pana helicopter pano, ndotakurwa nehelicopter pano. I'll be put on stretcher. Nomhando unokandwa muhelicopter ndobhururukirwa naye kuenda kuNewcastle hospital. Youth iri kuZimbabwe unozviitirwa nani? If you don't think of removing ZANU-PF now, unozviitirwa nani? Ndaona 2 mapictures andichemedza nasi. 2 mapictures andaona andichemedza. One picture is an accident bus onzi tomboni buses. Anzi rakari chibva meno kuchivu, raita accident kuchivu kunasi. Ukadaona nyika yaora. Ukadaona nyika yaora. Muno mukaita accident muno. Mukaita accident muno. Mapurisa anomhanya vokodhona area. Munatanga kusvika pa accident scene. Anofamba achiona kuti kana pane munhu ane chinhu ruoko rwachoka kana ane chinhu chiri wedged, haubvumirwi kubvisa. Unobva watofonera emergency, kunouya maparamedics ndo vanomhanya, manesi, madoctors vanomhanya kunoatenda place of scene. Hakuna munhu anoona mupurisa achisimudza munhu achikoka akamutakura sezvandaona pane imwe picture, so ndachema. ndikati is this disaster management? Zimbabwe Republic Police, mupurisa anokusimudzira munhu aita accident achikoka kuenda naye, uri kuenda naye kupi? Hakuna ambulance, ari kunoiswa muchimotikari chepolisi hachina kana mubhedha kana chii. Kana uri muyouth wezanu uri murakashi uchiona zvinhu zvakadaro, so start to think you will be in the same position mangwana. Unoita accident, vanhu voya wachikoka musana wachikoka makumbo kutokusimudza uchigomera vachienda newe kupi? Ngakuuye paramedic to attend you. Munhu anoiswa pastretcher bed otoiswa chekugadha mutsipa cheche. Kana achidai mainjections ekuvhara pain otobaya otopuwa mushonga wekuvhara pain otoiswa drip munhu arozeropa otakurwa oniswa kuchipatara. Aikona kuti munhu abuda ropa achikoka unoona mupurisa akarembedza munhu akatakura, so uri kuenda nemunhu kupi mupurisa? State yemunhu iye, you are not a trained healthcare, a trained doctor or a trained nurse kuti uassess condition yemunhu. Uri ngosimudza munhu kwaku kutakura kuenda naye. Ndachema so. Iyi ndo Zimbabwe yatoda here. Ndo Zimbabwe yataurwa 2018 Mnangagwa kuti by 2023 we want to create the Zimbabwe we want. Are these the duties of a police? Because hapana maparamedics aripo, hapana nurse aripo, hapana doctor aripo anocertify kuti injury yemunhu yakaita sei, uyu mubatai makadai, uyu batai makadai, uyu batai makadai. Kungosvika uchingozi kwakwano nemupurisa wachisimudzwa, chinokandwa muchidefender, chisina kana mubhedha kana chii. A lot of people are dying. Zetarapi pavanoti attend accidents, they are killing people. Anditi maona ndo accident yandatanga kuona iyo. The second accident anaona ndeye masoja kunyanga uko, adona masoja kaka bag gubu chadona chidonfeng ade ndaseka ndakochitasa kati idonfeng radona. Apa masoja manje angorara pasi wakuvara ndofa patofiwa kunyanga nhasi. So sad. It's so sad. Hapana kana paramedic aripo. Uri kugomera wadonha nemoka ugomera. Andini maona. Saka zvese zvezvo, it will come back to the youth of today. What are you doing? The incarceration of Job Sikhala, what is the youth doing about it? Because if you look at it now, there is no doubt that Mnangagwa has failed to unite the people of a country. He has failed to reconcile the people of Zimbabwe with vatarise vaite chinhu one. He has failed to build the country. He has failed to bring sanitary to the state. Because he himself is just a corrupt individual. Someone ready for bribes to make deals. And you hanzi nemwe munhu mari dzose dzamukutaura ndodziri kuvaka migwagwa, ndikati don't be silly. Mnangagwa achipinda akaita almost 6 months achibhururuka every single day nendege. Achida akaenda kuChina ndasaina 5 billion, akaenda kupi ndapuwa mari yakati, akaenda kuRwanda uko akanonzi apuwa 12 billion, akaenda kupi. Mamega deals akaitwa naMnangagwa achisaina zvikwereti zvazve, mari yacho yakaenda kupi? Mari gold mafia is his pocket money. Mari iyaya ukaona gold richismaguliwa harisi kunyorwa musystem, harisi kuzikanwa kunzi riripo. Roenda kuDubai ronotengeswa, mari yacho dzoka neprivate jet yakaiswa mumabhegi ana Hubert Angel ane red tape yakanzi diplomatic. Haisi accounted for, haizikanwa reserve bank, haizikanwa kupi. It's not an income to the state, it's an income to an individual. Anozovaka road sei nemari yake. He cannot take his personal money to build a road dzeZimbabwe. Ainzi mamega deals haya ese. Mbona kuti imari dzakakweretwa naMnangagwa in 6 months time. Akarova kuma about 1 trillion yakakwereta kubva na China, Russia, Belarus, kupi. Chikwereti chamofanirwa kudzosera imimi. Chauya chikwereti akata resurface Bedbridge Road 200 kilometers. Akapedzesa Harare International Airport yaigadzirwa, yanga yakagara ichigadzirwa kudhara. Those are the only 2 projects that I own. America dam only 3 projects. My projects you have to reckon 1 billion azvite. Kana 500,000 azvite. Where's the rest of the money? Saka youth yeZimbabwe zvikwereti mamega deals arutorwa iwewe on behalf of you and it on zvese zvinenge zvichitana naED Mnangagwa izvi is just enhancing my Marxist ideas. Ukatarisa zvana liberation theology ana class of war nani zvese chimarxist chese chicommunist chachi. Communism has contributed to our suffering in our country. Zimbabwe is literally shut down. As mari dzetu fi zoendepi ari kungoba imari dzawo dzekuenda nemahure. And the country is totally shut down now. Zimbabwe is shut down. They are not even allowing you to debate on the country status because they know the country is shut down. And murugona sakandati in youth murukupi murukuite. This is a high time we should annihilate this ZANU-PF government. The huge economic gap between you and the people in ZANU explains on its own what action you need to take. And more. Because ukada kutarisa system yakaintroduced by ZANU-PF government kubva Mugabe abviswa, it's a worse type of slavery that the Zimbabweans are facing. Racism yakutaurwa pachena nana iwani kuti don't invest with the black man. These are the impact, the effects yekutongwa nemadofu. The amount of people dying in Zimbabwe amount to genocide. Hakuna zvipatara, hakuna mvura, unofanana korera, mishonga, hakuna zvirwere. It's genocide. Ndiari kuona irunzi Mengistu uyu ngati mdzosere kuEthiopia. Reason yacho ndeyekuti ukatarisa during Mengistu's time vanhu vekuEthiopia ndokwataiona kuti waiwerenga mbabvu dzevanhu vekuEthiopia kuti munhu ane mbabvu ngano. Ndopataitizivira kuti munhu ane mbabvu ngano uku neuku. Taita samaEthiopians. He created a situation where Ethiopians died of hunger. That is genocide. And that same famine is in our country. Mukoma ACJ mukataura nyaya yeBeit Bridge mondirwadzisa. Because tine road inobva pamagunje 10 off Lomagundu road inofanira kuenda kuBinga. Yakatanga kugadzirwa 1982. Beit Bridge isati yatanga resurfacing. Yatove ne 40 something years nanhasi haisati yapera 41 years. Haisati yasvika, haisati yapfuura pazvipani. Zviri se Blachichi arobwa pagokwe. Wadye jena arobwa. Mango iri kushanda. Mango yakaipa kana takataura naZiyambi tikati mutarira nemango stavo. Hanzi chamisa na zvari kuita. Saka muri kuona problem since Mugabe abviswa paipa. If you look at ZANU-PF created unprecedented slavery, racism, genocide and famine. Nzara yapinda mumusha. Officially, Zimbabwe is a shut down country. Where people, if you look the depth of slavery that the government has been practicing in our country. Ndaona Scott uya achirova munhu. Hanzi takadzidza kuverenga mbabvu. Ndopa takadzidzira kuti munhu ane mbabvu ngano. Ndochokwadi. Tasikaende kuma X-ray kamakore aya. Taidzidza kuverenga mbabvu dzemunhu kuti munhu ane mbabvu ngano kusaidi uku ane mbabvu ngano. Takazviona pavanhu vekuEthiopia. Vakaonda nenzara yakacreatwa na yari kuZimbabwe wagara kuZimbabwe Mengistu. Haile Mariam Mengistu. And the one. Saka all these guys, zvandataura panapa, youth yezimbabwe zvisei mupfungwa. Ndosaka uri kuona muzimbabwe makuvakwa church a 30,000 seater church. Kana wakuenda kumpiro unoenda nedhora. Kana nedhora muri 30,000 makandiwa akupoketa 30,000 every time yamunoenda kunonamata. Saka you find that even the church in our country has failed to challenge the government on socio-economic disparity of you. Instead, the church is stealing from you again. It's enforcing itself on you. Iwewe uyaubhadhare mpiro nenzara iripo. Mengisi mhondi ayayai mhondi chaichai. Pakaipa. I don't know why we still harbor him. We must repatriate him back to Ethiopia to face justice. In I believe in justice. Mengistu must go home to face justice. So I'm talking to you, the youth of Zimbabwe, the women of Zimbabwe, that this is time that you should realize that ZANU-PF on its own, it is a strategy to keep you in eternal poverty. If you don't realize this, that ZANU-PF for the past 43 years has kept you backwards. Amuna kwamunomovha muchienda. It's high time ndotaura nemabhururu edu vanonzi varakasha. Ndakambozvitaura ndikati these people they operate in a nazi style of suicide bombing. Varakashi ma-suicide bombers havana kusiyana nema-suicide bombers. Hanzi mengushi ndiwe muramba tsvina futi but pakarobwa mugabe haana chaakavona. Muramba tsvina ndeyamengisi. Ndakachengeta boys raida kumuraya, raida kumasasineta re, ndakarichengeta kujeru. Vakomana vakanga ndava kunomuhwadhira vaida kumutsvaira Mengistu ari pajogo. Andimona. Saka ndozvandaitaura panapa mukoma chichi. Ndikati hama dzedu dzinonzi varakashi, if you look at them, they are like those Nazi suicide bombers. They don't use their brains. They are just told what to defend, what to do. They even prefer to go strap themselves with the bombs and bomb people, killing people. Varakash. Because they are ideologically brainwashed. So they would rather die for ZANU-PF. They would rather strap themselves with the bombs and kill us. Because they don't reason. They operate in a Nazi style where you are not allowed to reason. Young women and the young men of Zimbabwe, this is your opportunity to make sure that you are not going to be used by ZANU-PF for terror activities as we move towards 2023 election. I know what you are afraid of. I know what you are looking for. But don't be afraid of isusu edu takadzidza takaenda kuchikoro. Andimona. But let's work together. Let's oppose ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF ndi Satan. I know, Varakash, you lack this awareness of what I'm saying here. You lack the awareness of the current issues in our country. Because we know what you are just fighting for. Sakadata, you guys, Varakashi, Mungori interested like Nazi suicide bombers. You can prefer to die for ZANU-PF because you are ideologically brainwashed. Iwewe pachako hauna ma principles. You are bankrupt. And then born. Saka, zvese zvandataura nhasi, guys, I'm not going to take long. Zvese zvandataura nhasi. Munhu akambosvinwa mota. Kana wakambosvinwa mota kumusha, you will understand what I've said here. The pain that you feel. Mota rinovava richirwadza. Kana wakambosvinwa mota, you understand that pain. No pain iri mumwoyo memwana mumwe nemumwe weZimbabwe. But shatipiro kune Varakashi vamuka manje. Gorude mafia yamutsa vanhu. Honestly yamutsa vanhu mukoma chichi. Ndosaka mwana ndataura ndikati negold mafia atinayo yayi Presentations andakurowa kusvika musi wa18 April. Ndenge ndakapfeka black beret, black t-shirt in collaboration or ndichichema kufa kuparara kwaita nyika yeZimbabwe, kuparara kwaita everything, kubiwa kwegoridhe remunyika. Anditi maona, because mukoma chichi when I made a presentation yesterday, I think ndakaita kaera mbichana kezvima calculations zvandakaita kuti 350,000 RTGs yakapiwa masoja last month. Masoja akakatwa futika. This month vapiwa 150,000. Yavakapiwa last month it was about $350. Saka yabva yakatwa in half. Saka this vari kupiwa $100 something this month. No salary yemusoja iyoyo. Saka ndachitaura nasomeone anditi Shapiro unomboziva chii? Ndikati zvikanzi era yawakaita nezuro icorrect nhasi. Kana icorrecta sei bururu zvikanzi izwa Shepherd. Anzi pane inonzi spot price of gold on the currency you are using. Ndikati yes. Zvikanzi goridhe rinomezhwa in ounces. Rinomezhwa in ounces. Zvikanzi inonzi 1 troy ounce yegold is at the moment sold at 1,600 pounds muno mu-UK. 1 troy ounce of gold mu-UK is at the moment 1,600 pounds. Zvikanzi kana vachite troy ounce of gold vanoreva kuti 31.9 grams. 31.9 grams dzegoridhe. 1,600 pounds. Dakuratidza something. Matablets ukana mapirits atomwa aya 500 milligrams. 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. Saka 31.9 grams. Ndropa example. Tora periods raunomwa kana paracetamol. Mira ntore paracetamol. Nachimwa paracetamol nenyaya dzeflu. Aya ma capsules eparacetamol. One capsule paracetamol is 500 milligrams. 500 milligrams is half a gram. Dakuratidza. Hatichari kwanisa kurivhura. Because ndamwa kudhara. This is one capsule. One capsule paracetamol. Rine 500 milligrams. Paracetamol dzine half of a gram. Saka kana wane 2 aya, wane 1 gram. Saka unenge chida 39 of these. 39 of them, or 31 of them, to make 31 grams. Saka anzi imari refu apa unenge uri kwadotito uchiita nharo ndozvinorwadza. Saka regai ndidzokerere vanhu vatinzwi because mesi dzinonetsa kunzwisisa, but regai ndidzokerere zvakanaka. 1 capsule yeparacetamol ine 500 milligrams. 500 milligrams is half of a gram. 1 gram rine 1,000 milligrams. Right. Saka 1 troy ounce of gold, it costs 1,600 pounds muno mu-UK. Saka iwewe kana une 1,000 milligrams, kana une 1 gram, 1,000 milligrams, this is 500 milligrams. You need 2 of these to make 1,000 milligrams. Saka unenge une 2 aya, unenge 1 gram. 2 aya, 1 gram. Urukuda 31 grams. So you need how many? You need about 62 of these tablets. Could I did 31.9 grams. Indeed. Because I am a 500 mils. So I need about 62 of them. Could you add 31 grams? Over and an unotengesa 1,600. Right, vakateerera Scott sakupwanya achitaura pa Gold Mafia akataura kuti iye anosmuggle 60 tons of gold. 1 ton of gold is 1 ton is 1,000 kgs. Simple mathematics. 1 ton is 1,000 kgs. Saka Scott anoendesa 60,000 kgs the gold dzanosmuggle pagore. If you multiply 60,000 kgs by 1,000, you get 60 million grams. 60 million grams the gold. Ruxmaglu na Scott Ega. Yes, mkomaida murisi my late kama. Enyo tauya kikindogara ndagano noga wena. Otherwise zirisi ndagasimba mode. Zirisi wanoshika ndadopedza. Saka ndati ndipedze ndigadzirise. Pandanzi ndigadzirise. Ukateerera Gold Mafia. Scott sakupwanya akati iye anosmagula 60,000 kgs of gold every year. 60,000 kgs of gold is about 60 million grams. The gold. Right. Iwewe anenga achida iye 31.9 grams, which costs about 1,600. Regaindi chage calculate. Muone kuti mari ari kuita Scott every year. Imari. Gaidi tsvage Casio calculator. And muri kuona iyi. Just calculate. Kuti munhu ari kusmuggle 60 million grams the gold every year. Moda divide this by 31.9 grams the gold. That means ane 1,0877.743. Saka ane iye ma 31 grams or 31.9 grams arimo anoshika 1.8 million. 1, 2, 3. 1.8 million or 1.9 million. If you multiply this by 1,600, you get 1, 2, 3, 3, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 4. 1, 2, 3, 0, 0, 9. And 3. Nanyora chiko panapa. 3009404389.00. Ari kurova pagore. Scott ari kurova 3 trillion pounds. Baba. You are unacha. Scott is making 3 trillion pounds. 3 trillion pounds. Because this is 9 million. 3 billion. 3 billion. Tutadzakana kutoverenga mafigures. Scott ari kuita 3 billion. Floor. Oh yeah. All right, I'm coming. So you find, guys, that Scott is making 3 billion pounds a year. Iwe unongo chingoti idipe. 3 billion yarkuita is accounted to the state. It's smuggled gold out of the country. Smuggled cash inside the country. This is food for thought. And shada kuendera mberi was paying yacho ndoita ngandi kusvinwa mota. Ndoita ngandi kusvinwa mota nepain yacho. Saka rikainditi good night. Diriwo rairo vanogara mudiriwo, diriwo rari mbanje vanogara mudiriwo, diriwo rairo ramudiriwo, diriwo rari mbanje nogara mudiriwo, vakomana vanogara mudiriwo, diriwo rari mbanje vanogara mudiriwo, usatambe navo vanogara mudiriwo, diriwo rari mbanje vanogara mudiriwo, diriwo ravakomana diriwo rari mbanje vanogara mudiriwo, diriwo rairo vanogara mudiriwo, diriwo rari mbanje vanogara mudiriwo, vakomana vanogara mudiriwo, diriwo rari mbanje vanogara mudiriwo, usatambe navo vanogara mudiriwo, diriwo rari mbanje nogara mudiriwo, diriwo ravakomana diriwo rari mbanje vanogara mudiriwo vanogara mudiriwo ndakutonzwa senge ndiri kusvinwa mota. Good night.